welcome back to another video. Today we are talking about one of the more underrated characters in the Naruto franchise, and that's that boy Sasori, and how strong he is. Well, how strong was he? Of course, Sasori, we know, is a very proficient and the strongest puppet user that we are introduced to in the show, outside of maybe Adult Kankuro, but since Adult Kankuro really doesn't have feats, we're going to call Sasori the strongest puppet user. Also stronger than Lady Chio at that time, of course, because Lady Chio's out of her prime. What we have to know is that Sasori's strength relies in make use of his puppets while also being a puppet himself, losing his humanity and all that. And his 1,000 puppets technique, where he's able to summon 1,000 puppets at one time, even having an ace in the hole of basically turning the third Razekage into a puppet himself, making use of his technique and having to use his technique in fight whenever he wants to. While we also know Sasori did lose against Lady Chio and Sakura in a fight. That fight, though, was the end of his life. He did basically give up at the end of the fight. It's not that he was weaker. He could have killed Lady Chio. He could have killed Sakura in that fight, but chose not to, and of course wanted to regain his humanity and letting his puppets' parents kill him in that fight and just let Lady Chio just take his life in general instead of just killing them all. But he could have. We also have to know that Sasori is very potent at using poison techniques, dulling the senses of his opponent, while also being very proficient in ninja tools. He's just him. Now we have to know Sasori compared to the other Akatsuki. When we're talking about how strong he is, we have to compare how strong he is to his contemporaries. Is that he may have been the third to fourth strongest Akatsuki member if you think Sasori and Kisame. If you think Kisame was stronger than Sasori, because we do know that even though Kisame has the title of the tailed beast, Sasori was able to successfully take down a Hokage. Granted, we don't know how he did it. We don't know if that was a straight up fight or he just poisoned him and killed him like that. But if it was straight up duel and he outclassed the third Kazekage, which at the time was known to be the strongest Kazekage, with his black sand technique, easily puts him above many of the Kages at that time. Definitely puts him above maybe Tsunade without the Byakuya seal, but Tsunade with the Byakuya seal, or Byakugo seal, is of course stronger than Sasori. Now, as strong as Sasori is, fourth out of the Akatsuki really isn't that bad, but it would have been more interesting to include more detail into his backstory, of course. Now, as we know, Sasori was both a threat to the massive Hokages. Even Orochimaru considered him as a threat, as he can flash big jutsus, and he wasn't a slouch on an intelligence either. So he was incredibly smart within his puppets, and probably the best puppet master outside of Adult Kankuro. Let me say that again. We don't know much about Adult Kankuro, but Adult Kankuro versus Sasori not happening. Oh, Kankuro versus Sasori is a shame that didn't happen. That should have been the fight instead of Sakura and Lady Chio. That, man. Of course, he's incredibly intelligent, wanting to be one of the proteges and S-class ninja to be a real big threat to the Leaf at any point of the show. Now, with Sasori being the fourth strongest Akatsuki member, Sasori at the time could have taken down Sakura, Kakashi to a certain extent. If Kakashi isn't fully well rested, would most likely lose to Yamato if Yamato is able to protect himself from the needle points and of course the poison that Sasori possessed within his puppets and within his 1,000 puppet technique. Because even though his 1,000 puppet technique is incredibly useful, that is more quantity over quality, because his quality ones are only the third Kazekage one. The third Kazekage one, and the one we introduce him from, the shell one, of course. most of his puppets are, yeah, you know. You know, they're insanely weak, of course, as he could just throw rapidly at him. And being a puppet himself with only a shred of his humanity left, he could just throw hands just with his body himself. And along with the third Kage, ooh, boy is a threat. And he, of course, is Kage level, as many as the Akatsuki are. Now, we have to know something about Sasori, is that though he wanted to throw away his humanity, though he wanted to be the strongest and best puppet master, which he is, he did have humanity left. So, taking it all into account, being the 4th strongest Akatsuki member, and at that time in the show was maybe 10th strongest in the show outside of the Kages and outside of basically Minato at that point, because he was introduced, he could have taken down, potentially, besides he killed Gaara, he could have taken down Sasuke at that point, but not that of Naruto, just because Naruto would have bigger attack potency. Let me not say that. Bigger attack destruction, just because that tailed beast going out of control would have just wiped out his 1,000 puppets with ease. Anyway, like and subscribe. Being the 4th strongest Akatsuki is not that bad if I were to rank him. So like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.